So a chin up is an exercise that a lot of clients want to do, and there's a lot of people that struggle with them, whether they've been in the gym for a long time or if they're brand new. Happens quite a bit in our group classes where people just want to get that first chin up. And unfortunately, what a lot of people try and do with chin ups is they think that more is better. So they just try and crank as many chin ups as they can. Reps usually are a little bit sloppy, and unfortunately we're building poor movement patterns where one, we're not going to really improve the movement very well, and two, we might actually create the chance of injury. So what we're going to put together is just a progression series that we use at the gym to help clients get better at chin ups. Number one thing is this is hard work. This takes some time, so be patient with yourself and make sure that you can do the current exercise really well before you move on. You have all the time in the world with this. So before we get people even into vertical pulling exercise, we always want to make sure that they have the requisite mobility and stability to be able to do it. So usually when we assess the clients, we're going to see how well their shoulder flexion is. If they can't really get into a good position overhead, if they don't have a ton of external rotation, it's really tough to be jamming them into this position right here. So sometimes clients, we literally just have to take them a step back, work on the mobility stuff, and then we will eventually progress to pull-ups. That's why when we do pushing exercises, it's a lot of reaching exercises instead of straight overhead, just because a lot of people actually have a tough time with this position, especially nowadays where so many people are stuck at their desks. So assuming that we have these positions and we have these ranges that we can work in, let's go over a few of the things that we do with clients. So Steven's going to be our guinea pig today. So the very first thing is we want to make sure that we actually have the grip strength to be able to do a chin up. So that's the first exercise that we're going to do. We're just going to do what's called the dead hang. It's very simple. Steven's just going to find himself a neutral grip on the bar, just because neutral grip is just a little bit nicer on those shoulders. You don't have to, you can do whatever you want, but he's going to find whatever grip he finds the best. And if he needs to, he's going to keep his feet on the ground or on a bench or whatever. Eventually what we want to see is he's going to be completely hanging, shoulder blades are down, and he's just going to hang there for 10, 20, 30 seconds at a time. Easiest way to do this is just try and add time every single session, that is. Okay, so work on this until you can get 20, 30 seconds of a full dead hang, and then you probably have enough grip strength to move on. So good, Steve, you're good. So the next one is now we have the grip strength, so now we're going to start moving down the arm. We're going to look at the scapula, so that shoulder blade on the back. We're going to make sure that we can actually hold a depressed position. So when we do a chin up or a pull up or any variation, that shoulder blade is going to come down. There's actually going to be a little bit of downward rotation in the scap as well. So what Steven's going to do here, again, he can start with his feet on the ground just to make sure he's in a good position, and then after that he's going to get his feet off the ground. But all he's going to do is he's going to think, trying to create as much separation between the bottom of his ear and his shoulders as possible. So it's in this nice active position. So the rhomboids right here, those are coming together, and then these lats are starting to turn on. So again, same idea. You're going to start to do that 10 seconds at a time, eventually build up as the weeks progress. So good, Steven. Cool. So we got the grip strength. We can control our scaps, our shoulder blades. So now we're going to start bridging the gap. So the next one is just called the scapular chin up, scapular pull up, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going from a dead hang all the way into an active hang, and we're just working on reps here. So they don't need to be super fast. We want to be able to control everything. So all he's going to do is he's going to drive those shoulder blades down, make sure those lats are nice and tight, and then he's going to go back into a dead hang. Okay, so again, try and get 10 of these. When you actually get into chin ups, pull ups, when you actually get into chin ups and pull ups, this is actually a really good activation exercise just to make sure we know where our starting point is when we start a chin up or a pull up. Okay, so we want to be shoulder blades down. We got to drive those shoulder blades down. Okay, so we've worked a lot in the bottom position by this point, so now we're going to start to work at the top. Usually people are really weak in the bottom and at the top. So next up is just a chin up iso hold. So we usually like to get people up on a box. Like you can't really see right now, but we have a bench on the ground here. So what Steven's gonna do, he's gonna stand on the bench. He's gonna get that chin over the bar. That way we can actually set those shoulder blades where we want them. You can jump into one of these, like if you can grab it and jump up. The one thing that we find more often than not is people will actually, they'll jump up and all of a sudden they're not in the right spot and then they're just not a good starting position. So Steven's gonna try and get his chin over the bar. He's gonna make sure that those abs are nice and braced so he's not swinging all over the place. And he's just gonna hold this position. We're not gonna make him do it for the whole 20 seconds, but eventually that's where you're leading up to. We'll start usually week 1, 10 seconds, week 2, 12, then 15, and see how far we can get, up to about 20 seconds. And then that's kind of where we like to go. So third up, or the next one up, we're gonna go just a slow eccentric chin up. So we're gonna start at that top position, and we're gonna slowly lengthen that arm. So typically in an eccentric motion, so as the muscle is lengthening, we're gonna be a little bit stronger. So we're gonna kind of use that to our advantage in this situation. So again, Steven's gonna start chin over that bar, shoulder blades are in a nice, good position, and we're slowly gonna control all the way down to that dead hang. Good. Okay, so again, if we're going for reps here, let's say we're trying to do 5 of them at a 5-second tempo, Steven's gonna reset every single time. So we're not gonna jump back up, we're gonna get on that box and we're gonna slowly control the eccentric. Okay, so that's the slow eccentric chin up. So now we're gonna start to do a little bit of barbell work where we're actually going through a full rep. We might not be ready to do an actual chin up yet, so this is kind of one of those exercises that helps bridge the gap. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a barbell on the rack here. I'm just gonna move this bench out for Steven just a little bit. So we're gonna do what's called a toe assisted pull up. So I'll move this camera for us. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Steven's feet flat on the ground, okay? Hips are gonna be directly under the bar, and ideally his hips are off the ground. So from here, again, he's gonna pull those shoulder blades down and back. He's gonna pull himself up, chest to that bar, and slowly pull himself back down, okay? Perfect. Okay. So eventually this is gonna get really easy for Steven. So we wanna add a little more complexity to it. So all we'll do is we're gonna move a bench or a box, whatever it is, just a little bit closer to him. And all he's gonna do is he's gonna put his feet on that box. So he's gonna elevate his foot, again, keeping those hips underneath the bar. We don't wanna make this a row, and he's gonna do the same thing. Okay, so now we're not able to use the feet as much to help us out. And he's gonna do that for a few reps. Okay, so we're almost there. We've done well, so that barbell can go away now. So last 2 things we have before we get to the actual chin up is, first of all, we're gonna just try and do some cluster sets. So by now, if you can string together 10 good reps on that modified pull-up, you're probably able to do at least 1 to 2 really good chin-ups. We don't want to go too crazy here, so all Steven's going to do, he's going to go right from the bottom. He's going to do 2 reps on the chin-ups. So let's see it, Steven. All the way up, chest to bar, all the way to that active position. Good. So we're going to utilize what's called cluster sets. It's a little more of an advanced training system, but essentially we're gonna do 2 good reps. We're gonna rest for about 10-15 seconds, so we'll pretend that this is 15 seconds, and then we're gonna do 2 more. As you progress week to week, it might be something like a 2-2-1, so 2 reps rest, 2 reps rest, 1 rep, then you're done. We're just gonna start to add some reps, okay? Very last one is we're gonna go to straight chin ups, okay? So from here, we won't make Steven do too many more here. But essentially, as you get more and more used to the clusters, you're going to be able to string together more and more good reps. So as always, guys, Make sure everything that you do, you can control it. Make sure you get the most out of every exercise that you do, and play around with these progressions. See where you're at. Take some time to see where your weak spots are in this lift, and hopefully that helps. See you guys.